Well, would you look at that? Coinbase stock is now up over 60% over the past 1 month. You guys might remember that on my channel, I've been avidly covering this stock because of the fact that there's way too much fear around this business for a very minimal reason. And just yesterday, we had Blackrock come out, which is the world's largest asset manager, with a partnership on Coinbase Prime, which is Coinbase's institutional trading platform. Guys, this is a very big deal, and I think a lot of people are yet again underestimating this situation. Now, am I a genius for buying Coinbase stock under 70 and under 60 bucks over the past month or so? Probably not, because my entire long-term timeline has not fully played out just yet. But in the short term, this is a very good sign. It means that in the long term, revenue and profitability could be a lot closer for Coinbase as they expand into the institutional market. BlackRock, by the way, has been one of the biggest proponents of digital assets. Even though they don't own a big chunk of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're actually looking into it and researching a lot about this asset class. And I think that right there goes to show that a lot of other asset managers are likely going to follow BlackRock's footsteps in this play. And as we already know, even though Bitcoin has been going down extremely aggressively, the overall sentiment around crypto is not as bad and as poor as we have seen it in the past. And the simple reason for that is because Bitcoin is simply much more mature today than it was in 2017 or in 2012. There is significantly more networks out there, there are significantly more participants, and there is simply more support out there for crypto and decentralized exchanges. And because of that, this news is only validating my thesis about Coinbase being a very attractive buying opportunity if you want to bet on the growth of the crypto market. And why is the reason you might want to bet on that growth? Well, as you can see, historically, every single bear cycle has led to a very nice bull cycle in crypto that has lasted well over 1,177 days. On average, yes, the bear market tends to be very aggressive and very painful for most investors. We saw this in 2012, 2019, and obviously now the 2022 cycle that we're seeing. But the key idea here is that the people that bought during that bear market are the ones that ended up making all the money during the next bull run. And it's actually a pretty important fact that nobody investing in Bitcoin has lost money if they've held for at least 4 years. And 4 years is exactly what we call a long-term outlook. And so because of that, my bet on Bitcoin is within one of the largest exchanges in the world, Coinbase. And it's very funny because just about a month ago or 2 to 3 weeks ago, people were talking about Coinbase actually going bankrupt. Right, the stock was going down and people became extremely bearish. I got a lot of comments on my YouTube videos as well about people shorting the stock at literally a 52-week low. And I was pretty quick to express my feelings that was a pretty stupid decision, because shorting at a 52-week low when the stock is already down so much is like buying at all-time highs. It'd be like buying Coinbase at 400 bucks, right? That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to buy during times of fear when I get a good deal. And at 50 bucks, Coinbase stock is a pretty good steal deal if you think that in the long term the company will succeed. And so because of that, that's why I've been buying aggressively into Coinbase stock and investing in this company. And one of the very interesting things about this situation is the fact that a very popular fund manager by the name of Cathie ended up recently selling her stake in Coinbase stock. Now, the reason why this makes absolutely no sense is because of the fact that you want to buy low and sell high, not sell low and buy high. And it looks like that's what she's doing here. Now, there might be some sort of reasons why she had to sell. Now, she didn't sell her entire stake, but she took a pretty big loss here on 1.4 million shares of Coinbase. Now, I don't know why she sold this, but I speculate it's probably because either her conviction in the company was reduced, or she wants to de-risk her portfolio and her assets a little bit, or diversify outside of crypto. Who knows what the real reason is, but it's safe to say that she ended up selling this at literally the exact wrong time. Here's a chart of Cathie Wood's holdings, her average cost basis, and obviously the price of Bitcoin here, or the price of Coinbase in this case. As you can see in pink in the back is her average cost basis, and then this right here is the amount of shares she owns in purple. And so as you can see, just a few days ago, this went from around here all the way down to here, which is a $1.4 million or 1.4 million share reduction. And meanwhile, her average cost basis is still sitting at well over 350 bucks a share. So this goes to show you that capitulation is often the best time to buy. When one of the biggest fund managers in the world is selling, that's probably a good time to buy. And I actually said that in one of my Discord servers that I'm in of my investing group, where we discussed the fact that this is a pretty bad time to be either selling or shorting the stock, because there's way too much stuff already priced in to the price. And as we can see, obviously, over the past couple of days, the stock has gone crazy, even though so many people are bearish on this business, and even though so many people still think Bitcoin has a lot more room to the downside. Now, sure, there could be more pullbacks in the future, and we could hit a 52-week low, but the chances of that happening for a long-term investor, or the chances of you losing money buying here as a long-term investor, based on what the history has shown us, is pretty darn low. Because just like I showed you, the data shows us overall bear markets tend to last only around 300 to 400 days long, and this one started around 100 days ago. So just keep that in mind if you are a long-term investor. But obviously, that's not the only thing we've been seeing happening in the markets over the past 2 days. We've also seen a lot of mania in the risk assets of the market. As you can see right now, we are starting to see some of my favorite assets. Let's pull up the chart here real quick. In STEM, Corsair, Plug Power, all these companies have been going absolutely berserk. It's a pretty stellar thing to see. I've been hammering the table on a lot of these stocks, and it seems like the market's starting to realize that most of these companies are significantly undervalued. Yes, they're unprofitable. Yes, they're high growth. Yes, they're still doing very little revenue. But at the end of the day, the market is a discounting machine. So the stock going down has already priced in all of that unprofitability, all that lack of cash flow, and all that growth right now. And so because of that, that's why I've been buying the dip for the past 3 months or so. And in the clean energy space, especially with one of the bills coming up, you bet it's going to be a massive catalyst for these specific companies if that bill gets passed within the next 3 to 5 months. And even if they don't get passed, these companies are still very well positioned because of the cash flow and the financing these companies did in 2020 and in 2021. And as you can see, we're seeing assets like Carvana, Fubo, and Tattooed Chef, these very risky assets, according to the market, actually go up over the past 2 days. Carvana is up over 30%, and Coinbase stock obviously was up over 40% at one point yesterday at market open. And so what this goes to show is that we are starting to see risk on come back into the market. And risk on is always the leading indicator for the bottom in the general stock market. So even if the indices like the S&P 500 and the Dow are going down, this is showing us that there's underlying strength in the move of risk assets, and then the stock market might actually end up performing decently over the next few months. There's nothing guaranteed, but with inflation potentially coming down, and obviously the Fed already showing us that they've reached their median level of interest rates, there's a lot of signs going in the favor of the bulls. But as usual, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys' thoughts are. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little update on some of my long-term positions, particularly on Coinbase stock. But as usual, guys, make sure to drop me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.